These civil servants now had all the knowledge of the kings and priests and could manipulate the military.
Good whatever it is wherever you are. So I've got a couple of things going on. One of them is that I feel like I'm getting more requests than I expect, so I want to check the caching behavior on this. Which should have only got one thing, so if it requests followers again, then something is broken. So that's been a big problem in what's slowing it down. Fetch followers. So either it's unknown or it's expired. How about... so this is unknown. And this is expired. Unknown, huh? Well, that's an oopsie. Debug.log, known. Debug.log, required. Okay, expired, empty, required. Maybe I'm not persisting because I thought I had specifically tested persistence under this. Persist. Update. Key. Last updated. So that may, oh, you know what I may have forgotten is we got through all the stuff to save it. That we may have to specifically pull out that field. Yeah, we didn't specifically pull that field back when updating. So what is persist? Followers is a dinct. Where was I ordering things? Games, videos, followers. No, it's that one. Events, followers. Loaded. Oh, wait, I may have not waited for this to update. Known. Acquired, known, unknown. The expired happened first, huh? Well, I guess as long as you do both of them, it's kind of okay. So I guess it's just debug tools has to be open, not necessarily the network tab. So we did... I get too many debug logs. So we're done with you. We have all of these. And expired. All right, no follow fetch. None of those extra debug logs. No, your reactor, your compile. Notes, we checked that, we think. I guess this is where then, this is actually running off the same thing, but it's a file rather than a localhost URL. So if we do this, there should be far fewer requests now. So we did other stuff there. I think this is going to have more utility for me. And maybe it was the API requests that were impacting my ability to get screenshots. Maybe we'll actually worry about that as a later thing then. Actually, load cached followers. Alright, so the Games tab is a huge monstrosity. It loads all of the images, which are then not text searchable. So how about... so app mode, games view. Do we use this more than one place, or do I just rewrite that? I do not use that in more than one place. Do I have any option to view the image? It's generally too big of a list to find anything that might be useful as a confirmation. I think it's generally going to be box art. And I might actually need to have a different class here, because I probably might be reusing that with the main view. So it's not display box art. The idea was to not display anything if there's no thing there. So this is really... would have been a game. So... game.name. How about we start with, let's just put into a big list. So probably going to want to do, no, yeah, this is an individual LI already, okay. Text game.name. And you And some spacing. Okay, that is predictably bad because we're explicitly applying styles to this stuff. Is this still inline, or did I pull this out as a file? I seem to have pulled this out as a file. Games. Yeah, so we kind of don't want to use game and game stuff on that. Da, 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 da. Oh, let's ID, which we're not using. I might need something. Let's just see what these are like without styles. Well, I don't know. The wrap makes it a little easier to find something, but as long as we can easily find things, it's kind of fine. So what are we doing that makes this not just regular text? Background color, padding, position absolute. Actually, we broke game, so that's not going to apply. So potentially all of this stuff is irrelevant now. So why? Maybe is input a block element? Oh, I specifically put this in a div. Which made sense for positioning it. I would have to make the score a fixed width thing. Ooh, yeah, and that doesn't look very good. Is any of this useful now? Width maybe. Let's see, so game score, we're not really using score, we are. I guess this ends up being a little bit like tags. Right, because this is pulled from the collection of individuals, so there's nothing there. So this ceases to exist. This ceases to exist. I guess having it scrollable like this does end up kind of making it easier to find things. No, I should still go to this one. Because it is kind of a mess to find stuff in here. Alright, so that no longer loads images. I don't know if I have a good place to load images. It would have to be like some sort of hover or title. It's like a title attribute. Versus alt attribute. Oh, yeah. Because title's pretty much just text. So at that point, you'd be hand rolling your own little hover pop-up element. You might be able to do that with like display relative. I'd have to hook into hover. To not load, like if I just display, then I suspect it would go ahead and fetch everything. That's what I don't want. So I'd have to be doing the hover attribute in Elm to actually add and remove the hover elements. Which means defining messages that have to get sent over. To set the state for the current hover so we can come back and draw it. I think I might wait and see if I actually miss that functionality. Because that's a lot of work. Oh, I left some of those attributes as just kind of temporarily removing them. Text game list. Okay. Yeah, so this is, the stuff I was thinking of ahead of time might actually go pretty fast. So one thing I don't have, I guess in the request optimization thing, we can since we do have an OAuth token for the chat login, we could use that to improve loading times. Or request rates, rather. But I keep putting off offline mode. Alright, so, well, that's going to be a little bit in the view, too. That's an entirely new mode, probably defined here. All right. So just to get that done, navigation item. Idle.live streams. So that should get that part compilable. Now you, app mode, might not actually care all that much by itself. Oh, channels. All right, so we should be able to change to a blank tab. And we're like just too small. Just no rendering yet. So it might be a, well, I'll need some of the elements from that, or from the live streams. Live streams view. Which is really mostly this. Which I'll be able to reuse that. Threaded streams. Channels view. We do use sorted streams. So the raw data of this. Is I guess users? Oh, we're going to format it for keyed. Updates shouldn't be as big a deal here, but it shouldn't really hurt. Oh, but users is already a dict. But it's doing, yeah, it's doing this to the view. So that's going to be addictive user. User is ID. And channel view with model and channel. I mean, I guess it's really a user, just it's kind of the view here. Okay, so channel view. Okay, so this is not a maybe user. If we're here, we definitely have a user. Name is a user. It is not a maybe.map. It is just display name. There's no need for that. Now this. Oh yeah, user has tags. There is going to be no game here. Dix.get. That's going to be a maybe. Do I care about the schedule in this view? Maybe. Channel. I guess I could do that. Alright, there are going to be no graphics here. There is going to be no viewers. We're going to need the channel name somewhere, but I don't think we need... Probably, oh, you know what? We did lose here. Image template. Probably going to want this somewhere. Okay, so we're not going to need viewer count. That's my live, so host we don't need, it's just name. There's going to be no host button. I guess we can always have a remove button here. So we're going to have that. We're going to have something that's a name. There's no game. There's no stream title. And then we have our comment tag things. So our href text name, which makes that what are you closing? Something else. I might need a little container for that. And then we're going to have more stream stuff down here. So I guess sorted actually does belong more with the stream stuff. Let's play adding comment is for potentially both of them. Oh, no, we still got errors. No, it says... Oh, users only exist if I have data on them. Is that right? No, because I still have the list of people I'm going to fetch. I don't really have anything here. Add channel, exports. I never actually called this. Oh, and now it's not happy with something. Doesn't like something about my model, apparently. And this is where the error messages are practically useless. Adding comment may be string, at mode, auto channel, auto host status, channel status. I'm actually amazed that it ends up requiring this many fields for an untyped thing. Pending request, preview version, scored tags, selected comment, selected user, time. Oh. This understands that it's a user. This is trying to give me something else. So clearly I've mistyped some attribute here. And which function is specifically complaining about channels view? Channels view itself. So we have a user ID, user.displayname, user.tags, tags list string, ID string. Oh, that's using as a list. In fact, this is doing a list.map. Actually, this could function as a dict.map. I think over channel view model. Expects a list. Oh, it's still a dict. I have to do dict.toList. No? Oh, and you do not like high contrast mode. ToList. List of KV. I must be messing up dict.map then? No, it does take a key in A and a B. It only returns the B, but I have to be able to take I don't care and a user and apply that to user. I guess I could do it that way, which is only slightly smaller. All right, and this is where we need to see it with realistic data. We still have some requests going on here. And that's wider for some reason. So that is a bloody mess. How even is that working? And whose schedule is this? Is that this one going up? Well, I guess that should be evident in the structure. Actually, I can sort of figure this out by going here, getting that. Yeah, so that's putting that way up here. And that will be fetching as much stuff. So my structure is kind of all messed up for this. What am I doing to you? Width. There's the container. The tags are all fine. It must be doing that inline, whereas none of this is, yeah. Did we have a container in the stream that did this early lines? Vents, game name, it was a P title and such. No. Maybe schedule graph is still not? Okay, there we go. Just hadn't reloaded. Not sure I like the always on exit button. But it is a management mode. Those seem to work. And then in a bigger list, oop, we're still in spec mode. I might want, well, actually I could actually have this on that line if it's present. I could box this a bit. Make the, because it's just a bunch of like alternating stripes, it makes it a little bit harder to manage or to see. If I aligned things up properly, I might actually want to switch out this if it's going to be always there. Then and this is a UL. So in the context of channels, I might want to make that inline. There's the score, which is the leftover from game scores, comments. Display inline or inline block? Test this out in the smaller list. I feel like I've applied a info text. Right. Margin, font size, white space, no wrap. Yeah, I probably shouldn't use that. Okay, could use a little bit more spacing. I might actually be able to do an attribute for this, but that's a little bit more specific. So that breaks it up a little bit, or brings things together a little bit. Still makes it kind of hard to tell what these are with. And it might be nice to have like a click to update kind of thing. Do I really need the schedule on there? Main reason for this is to update tags for offline stuff. Or like if I add somebody new, then I can immediately tag them. It might be worth sorting this as well, although, right, it does end up being a list, so we can sort it. Yeah, today's schedule not going to be as important. means we really don't need as much the spacing here. Where is that coming from? That appears to be coming from the P. And that's not listed here at all. So that is default browser style. Let me guess. Info text, margin. Yeah. Channels, just info P? You already compile? Well, that was style anyway. Dot info. Okay, that's a little bit better. And then so it's a dict to list. Once it's a list, what were my options for that? Well, there's really just, well, there could be like, yeah, sort and sort by. Sort by a derived property. ID user to user dot name. It's display name, isn't it? So this doesn't actually care what you are. Oh, right, we actually have to shoot. We have to turn it to a list. We have to sort it. And then we have to list.map. No, then it matters because we update it. We're only going to be able to see the sort on this one. Okay, so that's a little bit better organized. And okay, we also do have actually, what is I probably don't care about. Yeah, I don't have their undisplayed name. So we have to sort of recreate it. String to lower. Okay. That should be a little bit more useful. Alright, so that's a link. There's currently nothing to refresh user information. Which right now, we fetch user, yeah, host clicked, which attempts to do the select copy. So that is that would actually be effectively a new message. So maybe I should just wait and see if I actually need that. Alright, so I can probably go back to this one. So all of my fetchx sends auth nothing, but we now have maybe an auth for chat. But that means all the function calls and anything that calls those function calls is going to have access to the auth information. Alright, so maybe that's a good time for me to take a break. I'll be back in a minute or two. Hello, Bashful. Thank you for following. I'm glad you're enjoying my playthrough where I'm winning far more than I expected to somehow. I guess the way things are going, our next step is going to be to put on all the Titan stars and see if I can get the achievement for that, and, you know...
Okay, I'm back. I got some food though, so I'm gonna be playing while I eat. If anybody died while I was gone, I'm gonna load it. Okay, I'm gonna mute myself for now.
Being wild right now. Let's see. Okay, so I think will give us a little bit more to work with. I guess now I should. I wish I did this earlier. Hi, Tashi. Thanks for stopping by. Do I make games all by myself? This.
I don't want to retain anything. Look at this. We're gonna have 7 nightmares and... Or no. We're gonna have 4 nightmares and 6 madnesses. That's actually a little on the useless side. Okay. This is infinite nightmares and madnesses. Infinite. You know what the best part is? They're all dead because I just activated so many skills, but I do have 6 nightmares, all cost 0, and 6 madnesses that all cost 0. And we're gonna Bouncing Blast this last dude just...
Alright, welcome back. Where the heck is my cursor? There we go. No, it's probably maybe Twitch dot. No, it's Helix is Helix. Helix.send. Or how about auth equals? Yep. Well, okay, that hits a few extras. So every one of these functions, and I guess we'll just have to kind of step through them one by one, is also going to need a maybe string that is our auth. And then, well, to check each one of these, fetch users by login, we do have a model. Okay. Helix dot send. So that's one. Fetch channel. Fetch channel, this should have a model. Fetch channel. Okay, that's okay. Fetch users by ID. Fetch users by ID. This can have access to a model. Yep. Only one place. That compiles. Maybe string auth auth unknown users by ID gets called from here, which does have a model. It's only one place, so that should be okay. Fetch hosting user. You have a model. That got used one place. Should be fine. Fetch self. Oh, this already has an auth. So that's fine. Streams by user IDs. This has a model. Okay, everything checks out there. Fetch channel stream. I don't know what I hit. How? I don't know how Vim keeps launching this. It must be some utility that does a thing called PA. Look, it's not your problem. I don't know why it launched. This should have a model. Maybe .map. Oof. I got used a bit. Ooh. Maybe, one of my favorite words. Alright, fetch channel stream, fetch games. Fetch games, this has a model. Only one use, so that should be fine. No. Nope, forgot to add to the argument list. Fetch videos. Yeah, only needs one place. This should have access to a model. Okay, fetch followers. This may not be one of Elm's shining moments. List.met fetch followers. You do have a model. And that should be all of that. So we should be able to tune up our request rate. So that is requests. I think that's seconds per request. No. 2 per second. No. 500 milliseconds per. Did I get that backwards? 'Cause I thought it was like, was it 30 per minute? That seems, well, I mean, it slowed it down a bit, but that still seems wrong. $30 per minute. So that should actually be like, that should have actually been like 0.5. $800 points. Did that get changed? I thought it used to be like 120. The other thing I could check on is to see if these things have been exposed to cores yet, because you didn't used to be able to read them. So what does 800 points per minute mean? I guess... oh, and this is conditional, so I really kind of have to do... We do have a model, so we know if we have an auth. But that's points per minute. Token or a token counts as a request. Well, all right, let's deal with this much in two steps here. That should keep us from getting actually limited. And I guess we're not really working on this stuff anymore. Well, let's look on a request reduction. Provide API auth if we have it. All right, so we need to get our math actually correct here. So our unauthenticated request rate is 30 per minute. Our authenticated request rate. Yeah, authenticated is 800 per minute. We want a term in milliseconds. Which is the gap between I could do an if here, but we do need to break it out. So it's case model.auth of just don't care. And nothing. I guess really I should have a function for the time. So we need, that is requests per minute. This is milliseconds per minute. If I did divide that, it would be similar to, well, it's not going to be a multiplier. I think it, no, because that's a higher number. It would mean a smaller gap. So is that times 60 divided by this? And that did get a little bit long. Right, because that's per minute. 30 requests per minute. 800 requests per minute. It's a smaller time. So that will be slower unauthenticated, faster authenticated. So everything compiles. Quick check. That's fine. This is where it gets more interesting. So we should be able to dispatch those fairly quick. Now that's going to be running at exactly the limit. We might want to do like... Is time.every floating or integer? Time isn't even a core package. It is a float. Although this might be integer division. About 0.9. How about 0.95? No. Okay, pretend this was 0.1. We ultimately want to make it a slightly longer delay. Nope, it's fine. So that we don't push things too hard. All right, now, how does... And I might have to dig into some library stuff here. Or direct request or something. HTTP. How does one get back response headers? I'm currently returning, direct things. Expect JSON, list string. This is a custom request. It's a put request, though. Configuring requests. Multi-part body, string part, file part, bytes part. Expect string, expect JSON, expect bytes. Error. Expect string response. HTTP good status metadata body. And getting a response header. Well, headers. Bad status, good status. Okay, so that's actually response. Resolvers. Creates a to pair your HT if you need timestamps for some reason. To a result. It's not a capital response. Logic for returning a body. Expect string, expect JSON. Expect bytes. Expect whatever. Yeah. Looks like you have to get super fancy if you want to get headers back. That's still an expect, which I don't think is useful. Well, okay, so expect string response. Result. And function of response. Right, so this is taking this thing. Expect JSON. Takes a result to message. And this thing returns a result. Alright, so pick any request. So our basic helix.send is here. Oh, but it's relying on, are these, yeah. See, so that won't get called every time. Fetch streams by user IDs is probably what gets called every time. Oh, nope, this has to be a cross-process copy. We might have to pull an HTTP for this. And then you can be... Alright, well that compile. Helix. That will compile. So we can switch you over temporarily to send. And you will compile. Alright, so this is an expect string response. This is an expect JSON. So we have a tagger and a decoder. And this is scrolled off a little bit. So what if we just... Ah, excellent. What if we just copied this as a starting point? Yeah, I know at one time you were unable to get the request headers because of CORS restrictions. So I'm seeing if that has changed. And expect... They're using D, which I don't normally have here. JSON dot decode. Yes. Yeah, just looks one of the ones that sounds interesting. Although I keep wanting to do Erlang first, just so I have a grounding in what's going on behind the scenes. Okay, we got that to compile. So I want to know equals debug.log what can we get back here? Oop, in. Okay, status code, text, headers, content type, expires. Nope, they still aren't CORS allowing the request wait limit information. So I can't do any dynamic. Nope, that's a different thing. Can't do any dynamic rate management. Yeah, it compiles to JavaScript, but it's not. It's a functional paradigm, not an object-oriented paradigm. All right, so dedicated requests. Yes, I should have actually done that before. If anything, can probably take that. What time is it? That might get a little hairy. Especially when it comes down to design stuff, because I'd have to capture a hover event, is my thinking right now. Send that up to the main app. Yeah, because then I need a user-specific update tag. because Twitch by default puts long expiration on the screenshot URLs. And it seems to be done in a session way, so that if you like do a full like close and page reload, you'll get updates. But if you just if you're just refreshing, then you could have a screenshot from hours ago. So I've got the screen previews here. So in the regular Twitch interface, that will kind of stick, and you'll have that same screenshot even if they've changed games or whatever. Do I call it like screenshot? Screen width might get used there. And then I am doing an explicit version update when I do refreshes to sort of cache bust it with that, with your old HTTP parameter trick. But that I've seen a couple of them coming back blank recently. So I'm wondering if I was like requesting screenshots too fast. And I'm wondering if I could like go to default behavior and then like on hover do it. But that's going to require me keeping around data. And this feels like it shifted more than a lot more than a hour, but I'm not sure what happened there. Anyway, I'm rambling. But I'd have to keep a per user update key. Which would probably mean a separate dict. Because I'm currently using the same update key, or the same user structure as my persistence model. Now I guess since that's kind of the application model, I could just add a field there and ignore it during persistence. It would be a little bit weird for that to have an extra field it's not using. Gut model, we could do a key lookup. It would be a string to int. So that if I explicitly looked at something, I could get an updated whale. And then I'd want to make sure that it didn't like spam that if I went over it. So maybe hover wouldn't be the right method for that. Yeah, then you'd want a timestamp on it to avoid cooldown. And it starts to turn into kind of a complicated thing. I could do it on my explicit update here. It's a little bit more deliberate. But I would have to make that a per user cache. But it's an event we've already got. We can try it. So hostable model needs a per user it's not stored information. We don't have any other dicks. We've already got preview version. Yeah, preview version. Oh, that field might sort of cease to exist. That has to be initialized. We fetch users, fetch videos. Selected user dict dot update, I believe. Update user.id with it's just a maybe int. I could construct maybe functions here. Would that be like a maybe dot map +1 maybe dot with defaults? It kind of doesn't matter. And this actually has to be a field. User preview version, model.user preview version. Yes. Oh, we should have a straight up user ID here. Only ints and floats work as numbers. Maybe number, maybe number. Oh. Maybe number to number. Oh, right, it does in fact have to be... Does in fact have to be a maybe. But if there was nothing there, we want to put something in there. No, that's going to be a maybe, maybe. No, because that... Yeah, that reduces it down to there. Isn't there a thing to handle nothings? Or do I just have to use a case? I just have to use a case. Okay. version. Case version of just. That was the maybe version. Just n+1, and if it's nothing, then it is just 1. Parentheses. Okay, that compiles. And then our view would be model.preview version dict.get. What do we have here? Stream.user_id, model.user preview version. Maybe with default 0. Alright, so if we do that, and then we do, well, there might still be some lag here. So did that not update? Oh, or maybe we already cached that version from a previous run. Well, we should be able to see this. So that's updating. Maybe it actually is getting cached somewhere. But over longer periods, this has appeared to work. Just hitting refresh. So that might allow us to control our request rate a little bit. Now, that means I'm technically not using my other version. Refresh. This one is going to be kind of experimental. I guess I just revert it. Okay, so I think I was using that confirmed. And I had a note on that. And then we've got a lot of harder problems. Let's see, reshuffling is a nasty one because it essentially have to store a sorting key somewhere and then like not update it while we're doing stuff. Weight factors would be a bit of trouble. Because you'd need model positions, you'd need edit controls, you'd need edit update messages. Oh. Actually, I think there is one thing I want to update. Sorted rank. Default. Yeah, that's a 1. This is probably better at 0.5, which would also be the weight. No, it would be like midpoint of the weight value. If we did that. I guess the first thing would be to give it settings. That would be down around here. Oh, and then I'm going to have to do persistence for them. Yeah. Yeah, this is starting to feel like a bigger project than I want to do right now. So that might be a little bit early-ish, but I just... adding settings all the way through. There's a lot of little steps. I need model, I need to view it, I need messages to update from the view, I need persistent data updates, encoder updates, decoder updates. I wouldn't mind as much if it wasn't going to maybe make things go very late. So I think that's going to be it for now. Thanks for watching. I'm going to be taking off for lunch and then grocery shopping, and I don't know if I have any other errands today, but generally catching up on stuff. So thanks for watching. Thanks for hosting. I've actually got... yes, and now I'll see how I feel about the screenshot update here. So this is about when I'm typically on, so yeah, with the time change, this feels pretty early. That looks like it might be a chatbot in development. Looks like it's game stuff, which isn't my personal thing. But chatbots are still a project I've worked on a bit. There's actually a little bit of chat functionality in Hostable. So if you're looking for someplace cool to hang out, stay Josus, someplace cool to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me. Goodbye, and until next time.